Mr. Kevin.
Hey, guys, it's Amber.
And Kristen.
We are doing Thoughtful Thursday on a Monday, so we're going to call it Mindful Monday.
Mindful Monday. Why not?
We had some things come up to be scheduled this week, so we're changing things around a little bit. It
And
all
keep
works
in
out.
mind that our podcast for Friday will be on Wednesday.
Yes, the live,
Yes,
the
the live. It'll
video.
still air on Friday.
Yes, it'll still air on
Um,
Friday.
but we'll still be live. So, because we like to interact with everybody. Um, so, anyways, today we was talking about a book that was Let Them.
Yes,
So,
and I want to pull that up to make sure that I know who. I have not read the book yet. It is a book that I plan on reading. It's the Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins.
yeah. And so this, when I seen this on I believe I've seen it on TikTok, YouTube. I don't remember. I seen it somewhere, but it made me think a lot about my kids because the whole theory was based on this little girl that passes away before she gets to wear a wedding dress. Um, she was supposed to be, I believe, the
Are we
flower
talking
girl.
about the same book then?
I believe so because it's that is her theory is Let Them. I don't think what I'm talking about is not a book, but I think the book is based off of this
Oh, I'll have to look and
because
see.
this little girl, she asked her mom if she could wear her flower girl dress like so many times. She wanted to wear it for everything. And she passes away before she gets to wear the dress, and they buried her in the dress.
Oh,
And so that is where the Let Them theory came from. So there was a woman that hung on to that. I don't know if she was related to this little girl. I'm not sure, but her whole thing was Let Them. And as a mom, I'm sure you felt this way too, it's hard because you want to set ground rules, you want to build structure and things. It's kind of like where do you let them?
where's the
And
breaking point for it?
yeah, because you don't want to raise spoiled little brats that thinks they're going to get their way every time they ask you for something, but you also want your child to
Have that
have that
experience.
experience. And the fact that this little girl like she wanted to wear it at like some unrealistic times to wear a flower girl dress would probably get dirty. But she just wanted to wear it. She loved it. She thought it was so pretty. She felt like a little princess.
So how I came about it is because I was doing my morning scroll, getting ready to do my advertising and everything on Facebook, and one of my Facebook friends had put out a quote from this book from Mel Robbins, the author of the book, The Let Them Theory. And I clicked on it to go over to Mel Robbins' Instagram to kind of look at it, and I was like stuck on it for an hour and a half. And that was just like snippets of what was in the book, different podcasts that she had done talking about her book. Because if I'm not mistaken, I think it just released maybe mid last month, maybe right around Christmas time. It had released the book release. But her theory is the science of the brain and how you are obsessed with allowing um, negative thoughts, negative people, judging people. Like that is almost how we are trained to think.
Yeah.
But if you retrain your brain, and again, I have not read this book. I do plan on it because it sounds like something very very interesting. But if you retrain your brain into thinking, let them, then you won't have that because it brings you down when you get obsessed with what other people think you. Yeah, what other people think about you, what other people say about you, or the negativity. Because she even brought, if you are around somebody who is constantly negative or toxic in some way, that because you always hear you can't pour from an empty cup.
Yes.
So if it's somebody who keeps taking from your cup and not filling it, but it is completely okay to step away. Step away. Yeah,
Yeah.
let them do, because you can't change them.
No, and you can't change somebody's perspective of you. They're gonna think what they want, do what they want, be who they want, and that's fine. Like, do you, but do you in the corner, because it's not gonna be at my expense.
Well, and the way that she had described it, which kind of, because I always tell you all the time, I put people in categories,
Oh yeah.
and so that, to me, that's how I took it, how she was describing it, that she was putting these people into categories, because, like, she gave an example. She said an example of, if, say, you got siblings, and you are the only sibling that reaches out to your other siblings all the time. You're the only one that sets up meets. You're the only one that gets the family together. You're the one that reaches out and says, "Hey, how's your day? How's your life? How's your week?" Whatever. You're
Yeah.
the one that initiates that. And it's not that you have to look at your siblings as saying, "Oh, they don't care, so now I'm just going to walk away from them." It's, let it, again, it kind of flops over to let me, that's what you were put here to do. Maybe
Mhm.
you are the one.
Your inner peace.
Yeah, that's what you do.
Yeah.
They may get tied up in their life, their busy life, or whatever, to whereas you have that time to reach
Mhm.
out to them.
Well.
And don't put that as a negative thought in your head, because I
Mhm.
think so many people do that now. They're like, "Oh, well, if you're not reaching out to me, I'm not reaching out to you."
Mhm. Well, and I think that can kind of like, so I understand that the whole, if they're not, if somebody's not put the same effort in. I don't want to put all of my effort into one person, and I'm the one putting all the effort in.
Right.
And then that person's not putting any effort in, and then I'm just draining myself to help them. That is kind of, where I look at that, because I don't want I'm very prone, when I get depressed, to like negative things. They'll drown me.
Hmm.
So
I
that,
think everybody can get like that.
yeah, and I feel guilty when it happens, because I will back away from everybody. And
Hmm.
if somebody needs me, they're so used to me being there, and I'm like, hey, I'm drowning. Give me a second. Like,
Leave me alone.
I
Yeah.
need my time, because it's like, last week was just horrible for me, and especially the whole horse incident and things, and we're still dealing with that and getting the horse out of the field and things, and I cannot handle that negativity. And so to me, that's when I decide that I need my space.
Hmm.
It's time for me to back away.
And that's according to what I have read and already online and listened to online. That's the other side of let me.
Hmm.
Let them, let me. Like, you've got, what your point is. So
Yeah.
you've hit that point. You've got to let yourself back away from that and say, "Hey, I've had enough. I've got to take me time for a minute."
Well, hey, since we're not really like, we're just recording, if you want to, you can grab that chair and come over here and
You
sit.
can come sit with us, Carrot.
I was ready to say, you can either come sit with us, or you can go sit over there if you don't want to be on the camera. You can have that chair. Abigail's here, so she rode down here because it's such a pretty day,
It
and we
is.
were like,
She
hi,
can peek in.
Abigail. So, hi,
Hi.
Abigail. We love us our carrot. Um, but yeah, I think, it's so important, and just having the people that do know when you're like at that point, at that breaking point,
Hmm.
that you have to have that, like,
Minute to yourself.
yeah, because I mean, when I go through shit, I can be the biggest bitch, and that's why I know my limit. Like,
Hmm.
if I'm at that limit, I step back. I'll lay in bed. Like, just if I'm in bed, leave me alone.
Well, and that's why I try to myself, because I mean, life hits us all, and
Hmm.
it's gonna happen. Things, shit happens. It happens to everybody.
All the time.
But I try to set aside one day for just me, because
Hmm.
I need quiet time. Like, I need no TV, no kids, no
Yes.
dogs, no phones ringing. I will turn off my phone and be like, okay, this is my quiet time.
Sorry, my OCD just kicked in bad. There's a little hair on there. I can't tell.
And that's me resetting and recharging.
Hmm.
And that, I know that, like, when you do that for yourself, you feel guilty.
Hmm.
Whereas when I do it to myself, I feel like it's needed. So I there's no
Yeah.
guilt there. I don't have, because I know I can't give anything else
When there's nothing left to give
when
of
there's
myself.
nothing left to give.
Well, and that is where my boundaries are. Like, I'm getting better at it, but have a problem with hyperextending myself to everybody
Mhm.
and then not giving the time that I need for myself.
Well, and something else that she had brought, which is something that I desperately need to work on, is because I always say, well, if you didn't do that, I wouldn't have reacted like this.
Mm-hmm.
And although I still stand on that because there's going to be days that people piss me off, and that's just the way it is, and it's their fault they piss me off. I don't care. But on the flip side of that, she is saying that you've got to learn to control how, like, you've got the control
Mhm.
of how you react to something.
So I'm kind of opposite because I'm like, yeah, I have control, but um, I'm not responsible for my reaction to your disrespect because I'm the type that'll fly the fuck off the handle real fast. So
Well, and that's it. You know that.
yeah, that's
So
where her and I
where
differ a
is
little
that?
bit. She's got
Where's
that
that
control a little bit more than I do.
boundary? And it took me years to get there. And
Well,
there's not always times that I'm there.
and I
There's
think that's the best part because like I'm a lot younger than you all, so like I still work on getting to those spaces, and that's what helps me with you all being around because I am so quick to fly off the handle.
well, and she said, 'cause I think I'm wanting to say, and I could be wrong on this, so don't quote me, don't hold me to this. I think she said she was 42.
Mm-hmm.
Well, her daughter is 20, and her daughter helped her write this book.
Yeah.
Stop scrolling over to Abigail.
I'm watching you, but I'm watching her get like this little, like she's got a little menacing grin over there. So I'm like,
She
she's up to
always
something over
does.
there.
But anyway, so her daughter, who's 20, helped her write this book.
Mm-hmm.
So it came from another perspective. And she said, both of them said several times during the writing of this book that they both had to practice over and over and over the let them,
Mm-hmm.
let them, you know.
Well, and I have a hard time too because while I'm very, very well aware that I'm an adult and I should have control of my actions, I have a problem with disrespect. And so I don't care where we are. If I'm holding the door for you or something and you just go through it and don't say thank you, like I really want to yank you out of the door and just slam it in your face. Because the let them
Although
thing,
they do frown upon that.
yeah, I really don't want to go to jail. Orange is not my color.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I have like yeah. So let them do it.
Let them.
So we have Trisha and Abigail in here, which is kind of funny. But it's my whole thing is like I'm just not a disrespectful person. If anybody ever feels like I am, for one, if I am to you, yeah, you've probably done something to me because I'm just not a disrespectful person. However, if you just do it like out of the blue, like if I hold the door for you, it is so easy to turn around and even just smile. You ain't got to say thank you, just smile.
Now I used to be really bad at saying, "Well, you're welcome." You know, even if I
I
didn't
do
get that
that.
thank you.
I do that.
But now I don't know, like it's not even worth my time anymore
Well, and
because I get so caught up in other things with other people that are important in my life,
Mhm.
you know, and I guess where I'm an empath,
Empath. Oh
it's
yeah.
yeah. So the
Mhm.
the ones that I'm close to, when they're down, I feel that
Mhm.
from them. So if it's somebody else that's just a stranger that wants to be an asshole out on the street,
I don't really
whatever,
care.
be that asshole if
Well,
that's
it's
you.
funny about that though, because when you and I are together, I've noticed we both do it. Like if one of us is going through some shit, the other one's like down there with us in the
Mhm.
trenches, and it's kind of like you'll tell me stuff that's going on in your life that you're like, oh, this is pissing me off, blah blah blah, and I feed off of you just as much as you feed off me. So it's kind of like when we're in bad moods, we don't keep each other in a bad mood because we'll sit here and like the TikToks we made the other day, both of us were just not in the mood, and we both ended up just busting out
It
laughing
was
all the time. It
hilarious.
was just fun.
Yeah.
And I think that's where you and I are so like our friendship is so perfect because we feed off of each other.
Hmm.
And then once I'm in like if it's me or you or whichever one of us. Right now it's definitely me. But when we get together, we find a way to lift each other up. And I think that is just like
But you
in
got to push
itself huge.
through. But I'm curious as to what more in depth this book has to offer. Like it's supposed to be a self help book,
Yeah.
so I'm very curious as to what more
You can't hear me?
it has to offer.
Can you hear me now?
We have some difficulties. Hang tight a minute, guys.
Can you hear me now? I mean, it's showing.
Oh,
Yeah. Well, I raised it up,
can you
so
see
maybe
the
that helps.
comments on
Yeah,
here?
I'm watching. I lifted it up, so maybe that'll help. But I mean, because it's on. There's no like, um. But anyways,
Well, that could be
I know I
fair.
keep like trying to push it out of the way, but it was hot. I was just that's why I'm in my tank top. But I think like when you're in a bad mood, I'm in a bad mood, whatever. That is the type of people you need to be around because um, I don't want to be around a negative Nancy all the time. And I know that when I get depressed, that's where I go.
I guess that to me is where I'm thinking that she's taken this book is yes, you want to be around like find your people that lift you up
Hmm.
instead of tear you back down. But if you are with around someone who is a negative Nancy, because a lot
Yeah.
you can't control. I mean, you can control who you're around 95% of the time, but there's sometimes that you can't.
Well, and I don't mind being around somebody that's negative a lot, um, if it's because they're going through shit. But I don't want to hear it all the time.
Yeah.
And I know that sounds bad, but I will help you and I will do whatever I can. But sometimes I just feel like I can't, like,
And I guess this is a movement that I say a movement. This has been going on for a while now because she she was talking about several people doing tattoos,
hmm.
and so that was like I guess when her it was before her book was released, but her theory had came out that she had seen all these people putting let them tattoos all over their arms or
Hmm.
hands or
Kind of like
just
the
wherever.
semicolon.
Yeah, and so that that really excited her, of course. That made her feel good that her book and
Well, and it's
whatever
super,
she was talking about was going viral.
her theory in itself is so important because that let them can stand for so many positive things.
So I screenshotted some of the things that she said on her Instagram, and you can follow her on Instagram if you're interested. It is Mel Robbins, and of course she is the author of Let Them. But she said you'll watch an entire Netflix series even when the first episodes are slow because someone told you it gets better.
Hmm.
But what if you looked at your goals and you watched your life get better instead? So
Yeah.
that's what she said. One of the things that she said, and it made perfect sense, which made me feel so much better because of what we're doing
Yeah.
with this podcast and everything.
Hmm.
Because when we started it, people said, "Why are you doing
Yeah, we
that?"
still
Or
hear it all the time. And
"You're
it's like, does it really matter?
you're not going to do anything with that," or
Hmm.
"Are you going to stick with it?" Because I mean, I said from the very get go, I'm one that jumps head first, and then I'm kind of
And then I'm like, okay, what are we doing? Let's
squizzle
plan
it.
this. Let's
Yeah,
do this. Let's do this. Because, like we had things come up this week, and we were like, well, okay, so we know we need to go live twice, so let's figure it out.
right.
And that's why I was like, well, let's go ahead because we really did not plan on going live today. And I was like, let's just do it and go ahead live and
Get it out there.
get it out. Yeah.
So that's what I feel like that's what this quote is saying that if you will go and watch a whole Netflix series just based off of what somebody else tells you that it's good,
Hmm.
why can't you do that? Keep pushing forward like that with your own goals.
Oh, absolutely. And it,
Why is it that somebody can say, "Oh, this series is so wonderful," but what you want to do in life is stupid? Why would you let that affect you if that's what makes you happy?
well, and not to only mention like, yeah, it makes us happy. Like we enjoy doing this, the TikToks and everything, and talking to everybody and interacting with everybody. And that's why we were like, well, we'll just go ahead and do a live. We're not going to just post it on Thursday. We're just going to go ahead and do a live, and then we'll post it everywhere on Thursday.
Friday.
Well, today's Thursday. Thought Thursday today.
Today.
So
Oh,
tomorrow,
Monday.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm. So
Back
sorry.
on track.
Well, okay. So our days are completely off. We're gonna go live Wednesday though for Friday. And I know that's confusing, but we have lives and sometimes things come up.
Things
And
happen.
so, but I think too, like I try not to let negative people bring me down or what somebody thinks of me. But I think that's also a part of like I'm not gonna say immaturity, but feel like it's a part of my growth
Hmm.
because it is a lot to not take in the negative. And I bring on some of it to myself because people will say I'm nothing but drama, but it's because I will stand up for everybody. I don't
So
care who
that
you
is
are.
one of the examples that she gave is feeling like you have to stand up or that you
Mhm.
are on constant defense mode
Yeah.
with stuff. And so that's one of the examples she says it's for your own sanity, for your
Mhm.
own peace. Stop. Just
Yep.
who cares what they have to say, what they're thinking, what they're saying, what they're doing. If it's infecting you internally and mindfully,
Mhm.
let them because you're not going to change.
No.
You're not going to change them. They're not going to change their opinion on
Nope.
it, but you can change how you take it.
Yeah. Well, and see, it's funny because if I'm going through shit, so like last week I had a horrible week, and I was like, bad things come in threes, and I'm like, they're still piling up, so I'm ready for it to stop. But um, it's funny because I will focus on other people's problems to not focus on my own. Like
Mm-hmm.
I will, like that's when rabbit holes and stuff become so important to me. Like I'll jump headfirst into a damn rabbit hole
Into a
because
rabbit
I
hole.
want to focus on something outside of what the hell's going on with me. So that it's hard and take this how you want because I know my daughter's watching this too and she's 14 and that to me is where the let them thing comes in so much handy because of the bullying and the hate and just the
Let
disrespect
let them because you
just
can't again you can't
and walk
change
away
it.
from them. They aren't worth it. um
And that used to drive me crazy when I was a kid because my mom was always the type that would say, "Turn the other cheek,
I
turn
know
big's a
I'll
bigger
turn the other cheek but
person,
I'll
turn
turn
the
yours
other
first.
cheek."
I cannot
And
help it.
you know, I
Well,
I never understood that growing up because I felt like, you know
I
what?
mean I'm
No,
35 and I still don't get it because I'm not gonna turn my
if they want to run their mouth, then I feel like they need to hear me. But now uh, and it could tomorrow may be a different day. I don't know. I change my
today's
mind
not though.
daily, but today I understand where she's coming from. Today I'm just like, you know what? Yes, I'm gonna let them. I'm
Yeah.
whatever you want to say, have at it, say it. Whatever you want to do it. I don't,
Yeah.
I'm just not going to. Now I have gotten better about how I approach people when I feel like they are wrong or done me wrong or said something wrong. I feel like I have grown in that aspect.
In your defense, though, like you still don't let them all the time because let somebody pick on me.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like I feel like I have
It's a
grown.
defense thing,
I
but it's a
still
growth.
take it to that person. I
Mhm.
still go and we'll talk,
Yeah,
but I don't fly off the handle because I used to have a horrible temper. I
I
mean,
still do. I
horrible
try not
temper.
to, but I do.
And so I feel like that part of me has grown. And she said something else. Here's another quote that she said because it said, "Do you find yourself constantly wondering why someone treats you poorly? Here's my advice: let them, let them treat you poorly, because that is their problem. It's
Let
not
them
your
treat you
problem."
poorly with a 2x4. Cause see, that's where
That
my mind
that
goes.
that doesn't say that here.
But that's where my mind goes. Cause I'm like, I hate when people are like, if it was an eye for an eye, the whole world would be blind. I'm like, well, let's all be blind. Cause I mean, I just have such a hard time with people that think they can walk all over you,
Hmm.
and I'm just not the one. And I do let a whole lot of things slide now. Because I used to get so upset when people would say the littlest things about me, and I do let that stuff slide. I'm just like, whatever. Like, if I am that high up on your priority list to run your mouth about me, go for it.
Right. Well, and because of that's what she was saying. She was like, you know what? If somebody has to sit and talk about me so horribly bad, and they're not looking at what's
Let
going
them.
on in their life or what they're doing personally or whatever, then their life alone must be so horrible.
Miserable.
Yeah, like it is.
Hmm.
It's miserable. So they're trying to lash out to somebody else.
Yeah, and make your life horrible. Which that it's funny that you say that because I'm the type that I try to give people the benefit of the doubt because if you're nice to me 90% of the time and you just have a bad day, that's the type of person I let slide.
Hmm.
If you are the type of person that likes to talk behind people's backs, especially mine or anything like that, I'm not letting that slide. I just don't want you in my space. Like I want you out of my orbit. You go to your own. We're
And I
good.
think that's where kind of like we're different because
Mhm.
for the most part, I can smile at you, still speak, and then move on. For the most part, I mean,
But you
there
can
are
tell when she don't
certain
like you.
ones. Yeah, there's certain ones that I cannot do that with,
Yeah.
and that's just how it is, and that's why I try to stay away from certain ones because I know my limitation
Mhm.
too.
Well, and that's if the closer I am to you, if you do me wrong, that is when I cut you completely off. Because if I put all my trust in you and you take that trust and you
I
settle
don't know. It
it.
depends on how petty I feel because I feel like I
Mm,
can probably kill you with kindness and make
Justin
it worse.
Justin said if they're talking about me, at least they're leaving someone else alone. Yeah.
And that's one of the things that she says too. You know, if
Mhm.
it gives somebody else a break.
Well, and I always like to think about it like mentally I can handle it where I know some people might not be able to.
So
Um,
here's another example that she gave of the let me, and this is in her book, the let them theory.
mhm.
She says, whatever your big dream is, however crazy, unlikely, or silly it may seem, I see it for you too. If you don't believe in it, let me believe in it for you. If you don't think you can do it, let me remind you that you can, and you will. And I mean, that's a great way
To look at
to
things.
look at things.
And that's something else. Like, we have our carrot over here in the corner, and Trish has helped us so much. But like,
I swear, when you said that, I heard caretaker,
caretaker.
and I was like,
We
"You
have our
got a
caretaker in the corner. She is more
caretaker,
the mom to us.
undertaker."
Yeah.
Like, where are we going with this?
She is more
Yeah.
of a
Corner
she's the
in
corner
in the
carrot.
corner.
But she really does kind of keep us in. She
She's our
does keep
ground.
yeah, she keeps me and Amber out of trouble a lot.
She's the ground.
But she said as much as I can. It's kind of hard. It can be a handful. But I back to that. Oh, you're gonna have to read it again because my brain just went.
Okay. Whatever your big dream is, however crazy, unlikely, or silly it may seem, I see it for you too.
Okay,
If you don't believe in it, let me believe in it for
that's
you.
what I was gonna get at. So even on like days where you're not really feeling it or something, I'll take the reins. And if it's the opposite, you do.
Well, and
Um,
there's been times that I've messaged you or and maybe not had said I don't really want to do this today, but you could probably tell
uh-huh.
I'm not in it, and you're like, well, what if today's the day that
It takes off.
yeah,
Because
what if this is it?
we are very, very aware that it takes likes,
Time.
shares, follows, and people to connect to us for us to grow. So,
But and we know we can't do that unless we are constant out there. It's a constant. It has to be a constant.
yeah. Well, and that's what it's hard because we put a lot of time, money, effort. Because even though like I always say our TikToks are so goofy, like it's just so much fun. That is probably one of the more fun things I think we do. It does not matter what's going on. That will like
And
make things
I
better.
actually had two people this weekend. Ones that I don't see every day. I don't talk to every day. I don't pull with them every day. But they had actually come in here and said, "Oh my God, I follow you all on TikTok. Um, I every time I see you all pop up,
Hmm.
I heart your all stuff." And then another one came in and was like, "Are you doing TikToks today? Like I follow you on there." And I'm just
Yeah,
like, "Oh well,
and they
that's
love to
great.
see that.
Like I like that."
And that's the thing. Like, are we doing this to like eventually, hopefully, make it a career?
Yeah,
Why not? I mean, you shouldn't start something like this without a end goal.
right.
But I think it is
And
so
if you can make
rewarding.
a career out of something that you love to
Hmm.
do, why not do it?
Well, and I think it's so rewarding to us because of the people that will walk up to us and say, that our TikToks made them laugh or something like that. Or,
Hmm.
and I think it's funny too because people are getting to know mine and your personalities, and a lot of people are
Which
seeing us
is
for who we
in
are.
return getting more subscribers to our
Hmm.
channels or more follows
Well,
on
and every time
our
we
social
interview,
medias.
every single time we have an interview, that person will say that's the best interview I've ever had.
It's the
Like it's
easiest.
just the
Yeah.
easiest, and like you all are so down to earth and fun, and it's just they felt like they could talk to us. And so I think that the let them thing, it's kind of let us
Oh,
too.
so this is what she said. This is what she was talking about with the judging. She said people actually love to judge other people,
Hmm.
and they do. They do love to.
Yep.
And I'm guilty of it myself. Like
Oh, I will.
I will sit and I'll be like, I don't think I'm gonna like this person
You did it
because,
to me.
yeah, exactly.
I mean, it is what it is. But that's what I don't really necessarily think that's judging. I think that's knowing your boundaries and limits. And like you said, I thought you were loud. Well, and you're like, you are loud, but then you're like, okay, I understand why you're loud. But
So you're fun
That's
loud.
just yeah, I'm just a bubbly person when I'm around people that I know and get along with and stuff, and that's just like my
Sorry, I thought it went dead.
oh, that's just like my personality. Which like downstairs it was so funny when Sue said you're the bitch and I'm the loudmouth, and it
Mm-hmm.
was like yeah, but it can be both ways because you can
Mm-hmm.
be loud too,
It can be
and I
loud.
can be a total bitch. But it's funny though because this book is so grounded in why we want to do the Thursdays as well because it we want to be people's lifeline if they need somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
She says, your happiness, your energy, your progress, it's all on you.
hmm Yep.
You have control of that. That is something that you can control.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing too. Like a lot of people don't realize that we have put a whole studio together. And it's not just one or the other. Like we have pictures still sitting on the ground and, things that we've gotten signed and things that we need to hang up and do. And we just have not done it yet. And it's so funny because this book is so perfect because it's like we put so much time and effort into this podcast, like a lot. Monday, Thursday, Friday, every week. And we bust our asses.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of like, I don't care if you don't like our podcast. I don't care if you don't like us or our personalities because we're genuine and this is who we are. But it's so helpful when you have people like Trish, Abigail. I mean, you and I, like we bounce off each other. But it's helpful when you have people like that are supportive and want to uplift
Encouraging.
you. And yes,
Mm-hmm.
like Trish literally has before we got the stand for my phone to record us, was recording all of our videos. And I'm telling you, when I give her a 1,000% reward for being able to hold the phone still while she's busting out laughing at us. Um, but that's just, I mean, that's the type of people.
Showing up.
Yeah,
That's what
but
that's
that's why
what goes
it's
with
so
it.
perfect.
It's showing up and putting in the work
Yeah,
because she
that's what's so
says
perfect about it.
that say you are a weightlifter or your goal is to lose weight or gain weight or lift weights, whatever you want to do.
Don't do a weight.
Yeah. You've got to show up to do that.
Mhm.
You've got to show up to the gym to put
Yes.
in the work to exercise. It's not trust me, I have tried every gimmick out there. It does not happen overnight and you can't buy a gimmick for it.
No, and
You have to actually
see,
put work the work.
you're talking about that, and that's so perfect to the like people badmouthing you and things because I was being told that I was on drugs because I lost so much weight, and I'm sitting here like I have a 3-year-old, so I mean of course I lost weight because I was pregnant,
Mm-hmm.
and then I stressed out and stuff, and that's how I lost like I think it was like 85 pounds in like 6 months.
But here is my thought on it. It's
That was a hard
because,
one for me to ignore.
but on the flip side of that, you will get people because I've had it said to me when they see me and they're like, if they haven't seen me in a while, oh my God, you've gained so much weight.
See, I think you
You know,
lost so much weight. You look so
but
good.
I'm saying
That's
now,
how people
yes,
are.
now
Yes.
I get, oh my God, you've lost so much weight. It's never, oh well, you look good,
Mhm.
or it's something nice
always
or something
something negative,
positive. It's
yeah.
always, oh my God, are you sick?
Uh-huh.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
are you swollen?
I'm sitting here
Because
like I was being told I was on dope or asked if I was sick and stuff like that, and I'm sitting here like no. And then I had that at the eye doctor when they said that spot in my eye could
yeah,
be colon cancer, and I'm sitting here like maybe I am sick. And how are you going to feel when you're sitting there running around saying I'm on dope and I'm actually like
something's
have something wrong
wrong.
with me?
Yeah,
And
but that's just it. They don't care
no.
because
Mm-mm.
if they're gonna say that, and I guess old people get a pass for that because I feel like,
I love
and I
old people.
cannot
Like
wait
I love how
until
honest they are though.
I can't wait until I'm that old person. Like
You'll be swinging at 80.
that's what my goal is. My nanny does that. Like my nanny will say, "Well, you're getting a little sick there. You probably
Mhm.
need to lay
My
off
grandma is real bad about doing that.
Or she'll say when when I went through my divorce, I had lost all kinds of weight because I was stressed, and I mean
Mhm.
I did lose a whole lot of weight pretty quick.
Yeah.
And every day my nanny was calling me, telling me that I needed to drink a milkshake, that I was too skinny.
I was
I
being told to
was
drink protein shakes, and I was
she
like,
told me I needed a milkshake. And what's so funny about that is because when my dad had gotten sick and he had lost a bunch of weight, he wanted us to go and get him milkshakes all the time. So that must have been just like how they were raised. Like if you needed to put fat on your bones, you need to go drink a milkshake. Yeah.
yeah.
So
Well, and that's what would say something to me about a protein shake because I would go a day or two without eating and not realize it. Because I was living off energy, drank some water, and I wouldn't realize I hadn't ate, and I would sit down and I'd be like, I need to eat. So then I, took that into my own hands and started making a time like I know I need to
Set
eat.
a schedule.
Like today, I have not eaten a bite. I'm not hungry. But it has nothing to do with starving myself or drugs or anything like that. It's just my body now is trained to not
that's
eat.
what I was gonna say. Once your stomach shrinks, and this is what I learned
I
with
have the size
my
of a toddler, I
fluctuation
swear I do.
of gaining and losing and
Oh, no,
gaining and
it would be more
losing.
than I do.
Once your stomach shrinks, you get fuller quicker.
Mhm.
And if you train yourself, and that is something that you have to do, you have to train yourself to eat slowly
Yep.
in order
Let
for
your
it to
body keep
have
up with it.
time for your stomach to, what is it? Your stomach to send signal to your
Yep.
brain, or your brain to send signal to your stomach that you're
Yeah,
full.
it's that you're full. Yeah.
Whatever the
It's-
case may be. If you eat slow, that'll happen.
Well, and they also say if you chew slower.
Well, and I had a friend that used to tell me all the time, a girl that worked with us, because we would always bring snacks in, and it was like a community snack center all the time in our office. And we were in an office setting, so we didn't get much exercise, if any, at all,
Yeah.
So when we would all decide we were going on a diet, but one of us would want like a bag of Doritos instead of the apple that we
Yeah.
brought, and she would say, "Drink some water. You're just probably thirsty."
Yep. And that's something people don't realize too is it's I don't care that people say things about my weight. The things that get me though is if you gain weight, they mention it. If you lose weight, you're gonna blow away. But
Body shaming should just go
go
away.
away. Because I don't care. Yeah.
I agree.
Well, and I don't care if I'm 200 pounds like I was, or if I'm 114 pounds like I am now. I don't think that for one, it's none of your business. But if you're actually genuinely concerned about me and wanted to walk up to me and be like, "Are you okay?" Like, no, I'm not. The stress is killing me.
Right.
That would have been different than the rumors that were going around because I didn't even know they were going around.
And
I had no
here's
idea.
the thing.
I was
I
told.
guess this is the way that I look at it. It is hurtful. And I did grow up in the sticks and stones may break your bones, but words will never hurt you.
I've always said, punch me in my face. I'd rather you hit me because physical goes away.
Well, see,
Words sting.
Words do sting. They do sting.
Mhm.
But I have, that's the mentality I have, is, well, your words aren't. Now,
Yeah.
if it is somebody that, like if Jimmy was to tell me, that, oh, you're a little chunky, that would probably hurt my feelings,
Oh,
because
absolutely.
that's my husband. Um,
Oh. Twanging Round said, "Hey y'all,
hello, twanging
Hi.
rounds.
I hope you all have enjoyed your all's cruise because I'm so jealous.
Me too.
I've been
I
watching their
wanna be on a
pictures,
cruise.
but see, and that's something else. They are phenomenal, and we wouldn't have ever like really thought to have even met them or like put ourselves out there. Like, yeah, you own the bar and stuff, but as far as our podcast and things, like that was a big step because I'm more shy than you. So when you start doing things, I'm like, okay, I can do it. I can do it. So that goes with that let them thing though, the let them theory, because um, it helps when you have somebody that helps you when you
that can push you to do better
yes and be
and
outside
be
of your
better.
shell because
Like our last
do better, be better.
podcast, do better, be better.
Well, and
When you
that's
have
what
that,
we had somebody make a nasty comment on our podcast page, and it was because of me. But they were bullying somebody else, and it was right when our Do Better Be Better podcast came out, and they were bullying somebody, and I got in the middle of it because I was like,
which
I would
is
rather
what
them
we're
bully
trying
me.
to work on,
Yeah.
Kristen, because it was a stranger in a stranger's page. The rabbit hole that she went down.
Well, I hate when people pick on people, especially if it's like their appearance and things. What are you going to attack on my appearance? That I have braces?
Right.
Because I'm not fat. I don't look ancient. Like, what are you going to pick on me? Go for it.
They will. They will find
Oh,
anything.
they will. But my whole thing was, it's like, I can take it because I don't.
And there
care
are
like that.
people that can't. I get that.
Turning around said, both of you guys have awesome personalities, and your all's dynamic can take you all wherever you want to go.
Oh, thank
you
you.
all. Same for you all, except for next time you all go on a cruise, I fit in suitcases.
And I will take a cabin with a balcony. That's
I know.
all.
We've been talking about doing a girls
I'm not as
cruise.
small as her. I might not fit in a suitcase, but
Well, you're getting there though.
balcony with
We've been talking about doing a girls trip though and doing a cruise, and I think that would be just so much fun.
I think we would have a blast.
Just to get out. Do
So
something.
here is something else. I screenshotted a bunch of her quotes that she did from this book, and I cannot wait. Once I actually read this book, then we will come back and talk about it again
And that's
because
all
I
I'm gonna hear
feel
about for a
like
week.
probably, yeah, until I shove it down her face to
'Cause
read
I want
it.
to read it too.
Nobody owes you anything, but you owe yourself everything.
Yes.
And that, I mean, you are in.
Twang around said, "Don't threaten us with a good time. You'll be on the next boat." Hey, I'm game. I love a cruise.
Just need a passport.
Do you don't have your passport?
No, I don't.
Oh, get your passport.
I'm going to. I'm
Oh my
going
gosh,
to.
I have mine because when we went to the Bahamas, they took pictures in Nassau, and I'm sure you all seen it on your cruise because it's so pretty. But when you're leaving Nassau, there's a lighthouse at the end of the island. I'll show you the picture I have. It's on my Instagram, and it looks like it's fake. It is so beautiful. And we went like snorkeling,
Mm-hmm.
and you
Oh,
can
I'd love to go
see
snorkeling.
you can see everything.
You know what?
Just don't touch
So
anything 'cause
where
it jumps in
is
your
it
hand.
that you can swim with the pigs? Oh,
Um,
awesome.
heck
Well, I have
yeah.
that. I have
I
that.
had to have my passport when we went to the Bahamas.
Where is it that you can swim with the pigs? Is that the Bahamas?
No, it's the Cancun, I think.
Mexico?
I think it's Cancun. Um, is it? It's. I've never swam with the pigs. I
that-
went to Nassau and I didn't swim with pigs.
Our Google machine's gonna look it up for us.
Abigail's gonna do what? But when we were snorkeling and stuff, it was so funny because you have to look up a batfish. It looks almost like it's weird as hell looking. But my brother, he went to grab it in the Bahamas. But he went to grab it and this thing jumped and it was like
Does it look like a bat?
no.
Why do they call it a batfish?
I don't know. But I was like, you probably shouldn't touch anything down here. But we were having so much fun, and I stepped on a stingray.
Surely to goodness, they're not going
so that
to like.
scared me. Justin said Taylorsville Lake when the locals are out.
I'll stay away
And,
from Taylorsville Lake. Thank you.
Playing around said it is Nassau. It's Nassau, Bahamas. They were doing that while we were there.
I would
we
love
must not have gone to that part, but I have a picture of me with a pirate. And that's kind of where we got stuck because I got lost on the island because I was shopping and we were just like walking. And so I was a little bit intoxicated and I lost myself. But
that would be my biggest fear.
But I got found.
Is going somewhere like that and getting lost. And because
just kidding.
I'm the type of person, and I guess it's because of the company that I used to work for, because we used to do door-to-door collecting. So when we would go out, back then, you didn't have a GPS. You actually had to like print the directions off, like MapQuest or some shit like that.
Yeah.
So when we would go out, if we got lost or was in the vicinity, just didn't know exactly what house,
Yeah.
then I would knock on the door and say, hey, I'm looking for so and so. I clearly don't think that I would be able to do that in a foreign country.
You'll have to ask Justin. I was driving his truck and we ended up on a ferry
in the Bahamas.
No.
Oh,
I'm saying you were talking about getting lost.
Oh.
We had to go. I was going to pick up goats. I think I don't remember. But we were on this ferry, and like he has those big mud tires on his truck, and his truck barely fit on this ferry. And like I was driving his truck, and I'm like, I'm gonna scratch his rims. I just know it. And then I'm like, I wish I had the Escalade right now because I'd rather tear mine than his. And so, but we
rode with a guy. We went on a ride. The
Same.
little ferry that takes you across. I don't know where it's at, but it's the little ferry that I know we've rode up several times.
on the motorcycles in Cave City.
So we were with a group, and there was an older gentleman that was with us, and I guess he had never been on the ferry before.
On his bike.
Yeah. So when we start to go, because it kind of like pops over that hill, and then you see the water before you actually see like the ferry that you get on there.
When you go down to that ferry.
He like whipped it real quick into like it scared.
That parking lot.
Yes, it scared us so bad because he was like, "What are y'all doing?" He thought we were going. No, he thought we were going into the water. He thought we were going to ride our bikes into the water.
Oh,
and he was like, "Not me, I'm out."
And that ferry's huge compared to the one we went to, and I honestly don't even know where the hell we were because that's where GPS told us to go. But when we left, we didn't have to cross it again, so I don't even know where we were. And
GPS will take you in some shady places.
Well, Justin says I always do that to him because I like I ended up in some pretty. I mean, I literally think this guy was a legit pirate, and I took pictures with him and stuff. And
Wait,
he,
are we talking about the
so
goat
in the Nassau,
again,
no, in
or we're
Nassau,
back to the
in
Bahamas?
Nassau, in the Bahamas.
'Cause I'm
He
so
thought-
confused.
But that's what I was talking about though, because like I get lost everywhere, and so we're out shopping, and like on the boats they'll give you like tokens to go to certain places too, and so or on the boat we were on, and so I was wanting to find those places, and of course it was me, Justin, my mom and dad, and my brother and sister-in-law, and so we kind of tried to stay together, but like I wanted to go adventure,
Mhm.
and of course I'm the one that's like I guess more in shape, so I'm like trotting through the streets, ready
Just
to
trying to
go, and
find whatever.
I'm like, where the hell's the beach even? Like we couldn't even find the beach at Nassau. And finally, we found a beach we could go
You
on.
don't pull up to port at
Well, you
the
import,
beach?
but you can't swim it. So if you go to Coco Cay, you offload off the ship onto a small boat and they take you up to Coco Cay. But at Nassau, when the boat ports,
Uh-huh.
there's not beaches right there. You can't
Oh.
swim where the ships are, and it's like a canal into the port.
So when our company took us to California, a group of us had decided we were going to rent a vehicle and drive into LA,
Mhm.
right on like the Hollywood Strip or whatever. So when we get there, mind you, none of us had been there. Maybe one or two of us had been there. The rest of us had not. I had not been there ever. And at that point in life, I was more of a naive because I was a lot younger then.
Yeah.
So I did not. I don't want to say I felt invincible, like nothing could happen to me, but I guess maybe in some sense I did.
Yeah.
But so we get there, and the supervisor that was with us, he was like, "Listen, we stay in a group, we stay in a tight knit group, and we do not let anybody join our group. Like if one of us goes off somewhere, we all go off. If
Oh my God, I
one
would've
of
gotten
us
off so lost.
stops, then and there was like 10 of us probably together.
I would definitely get people lost.
So they
They
said,
would lose me.
if somebody stopped, we all stopped. If whoever was in front, the middle, and then the back needed to watch to make sure that nobody else joined our group. And I could not, for the life of me, understand that concept because I was like, who is going to be walking around Hollywood Boulevard and join just a random pack of strangers? But they
But they
did.
do.
They
But they do.
did. I turned around and we had a guy in a house outfit with a house on his head singing about everybody needs a home. And I was like, what is
Where
happening?
the hell did
Yeah.
you come
I
from?
was like, what is happening
That is like
in my
being,
life right now?
That's like Abigail and I being in Nashville, and this guy standing at this. Like, I mean, I'm not making fun of homelessness, but if you make a joke, I'm gonna laugh. But this guy, his sign said "spread some cheese on this cracker." I swear, I thought my tent was dark enough. It wasn't because Abigail and I are bent over, doubled over, laughing.
Well,
At this man.
there was one of my friends on Facebook. She posted a picture of a guy earlier, and she said, because that is one of my biggest pet peeves. Like if you help somebody, don't take a picture of it. Like that to me is just
No.
rude. But
I
anyway,
wanted
this
to take a
guy.
picture of his sign though.
Well,
I just
she
couldn't.
took a picture of the guy on the sign, but she had asked him if she could because
Mhm.
of what his sign said. His sign said he was too lazy to work and too ugly to be a prostitute, so he needed some money. And she was like, "I gave him money. At least he was honest."
I mean, hey, at least he was on. But that's what that this all falls back to this book though, because and the saying "let them" or "let me" or "let us," because to me it's just so like we swirled off a minute, but that's us for one, but for two, that's how you know that "let them" phase it works
Hmm.
because look at the things we've planned or the things that we're talking about we've done and things where we've come from, and I think that's why the "let them" thing works
You grow
because you
So it says here, you are responsible for your own happiness. You are responsible for the energy that you bring in and how you show up. You are responsible for waking up every day and doing the work to make the progress on what matters. You are responsible for defining what matters to you.
Mhm.
You are responsible for telling the truth, even when it's really hard, to yourself.
Yeah,
And you are responsible for paying for your life. Nobody else owes you anything but you. You owe yourself everything.
absolutely. And I mean, I think that's where when depression gets a hold of me, that's a hard time.
Hmm.
That's when you or Abigail or anybody that's going to kind of lift me up, that is where you all come in because I'm going to do the same for you. Um,
So I
but
think this is something that I really want to, because the brain fascinates me. the how it functions and just so I think that's something that I may eventually somewhere in my life. Why are you looking at me like that? Like
I'm
I'm not.
listening. I'm listening. I'm trying to
That
think of
I'm
where you're
going
going with
to
this.
dive into and try to find what is that called? Neuroscience?
Neuroscience.
Yeah. So I think I may dig into that a little bit because
Well,
I
and
think that's fascinating.
the brain is fascinating, but it's so oh, I don't know the word I'm looking for. It's
Complicated,
no, there's just so much to the
fickle.
brain. Um, no, the word will be there when I get done.
She'll screaming at me
Yeah, in a
randomly.
minute I'll just remember it and just say it. But that's like
But how amazing is it that she's saying you can train yourself to have this thought process?
people are creatures of habit. So if you like put something in your mind and you fight towards that thing, that's I think what she means
Yeah.
by you're going to train yourself to be that person. So, but I think that is where that book is going to be so important.
I think it is going to be a very good read. I think that
Because you can train yourself to be like
have a different mindset.
yeah, and throw out of the toxicity that if you grew up in it or be the change.
Yeah.
And we've also had a podcast called Be the Change. So I mean, that is where I stand with all that. I mean, be a better person.
I like I said,
Let them.
I'm very excited about reading this book. I do plan on downloading it. Probably will have it read this
And
weekend.
and think it before you do things. Like if you think this week, don't like blah, 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 blah.
Spit it out, Spanky.
I'm trying. Give more compliments than the judgments or the stares or whatever. Smile, pass on. Like it don't matter if you compliment somebody's hair. It could be the difference for them.
It could. A positive
Yeah.
impact. It could definitely be a positive
'Cause trust
impact.
me, I've needed it and I've had
And
it.
let us know, like, if you have read this book, Let Them by Mel Robbins, let us know. Like, tell us in the comments or drop us a message
it's
on
worth
our
reading.
page. Yeah,
We
if
like the
you
theory.
did it, yeah. If you've read it, if it has helped you any at all, tell us what you think. Tell us if you plan on reading this. If this is a book that you plan on reading, because for me myself, I do plan on reading it, and I think we'll come back to this once I've read it, and I can say, oh my God, yes, everybody needs to read this, or stay away from it,
Yeah.
But I like the theory of it. I like the quotes from it so far that I have read on it because it makes sense to me. And I think that's something that would be very
And it
helpful.
would be intriguing to me.
Yeah,
I think.
I think that would be because it's a help book.
Mhm.
It's a self help
Yep.
book to read. So I think that's something that I mean maybe you all should look into reading.
Yeah. And this week, just remember, compliment, be positive, spread your smile, even if you don't feel like it, because it might be what somebody needs to hear, see. I mean, they might need that boost for the week.
Right.
So.
One of the things that she had posted like a little snippet of something on, I think it was one of her Instagrams or anything, but I was like, oh, it goes perfect with what you just said because there was a woman and a child. The little kid was maybe 6, 7 years old or something, but anyway, they were in like a candy store, cake store, something like that. The kid was throwing a fit. I mean, throwing a hellacious on the floor, screaming, kicking fit.
Yeah.
And there was two elderly ladies that was standing at the door, and the elder one of them said, "Oh my God, I can't believe she can't control her kid. Like kids are awful these days. My kid wouldn't be acting like that." Just bashing this parent for what was going on, and the mom didn't say anything, but it did show what had happened 20 minutes prior to this happening. And what it was this little boy was actually being put in another foster care. This woman was his foster mother. It was like his third or fourth foster family since he had been in the system. And so he had just got with this woman. And his caseworker was saying, sometimes he gets a little overwhelmed. He does not know how to express himself very good yet. I mean, he's what, 5 or 6 years old? No, he does not know how to express himself.
Especially when he's not really been taught.
Yeah, and if you're just bouncing around from home to home. But anyway, so that's what had happened just 20 minutes prior to him falling out and throwing a fit. And these people looking on in judgment saying, oh, well, if that's my kid, I'd jerk him up
Well,
and bust his
see,
ass.
I was about to say, I'm the type of mom that I will jerk my kid up and bust their ass. I
Mhm.
mean, I will. I don't care. My kids know how to act in public. However, I also know that I have, a child that cannot control herself all the time, and so that's where my sympathy comes from. The only time that I think it's appropriate that if a child's having a mental breakdown or something, that you should remove yourself and that child is at a restaurant. Because, and I don't mean remove yourself completely. I mean, go to the bathroom,
Give him a
go
break.
to go to the cart, something, give that child a breather, and then come back because you don't want to hear it as much as nobody else wants to hear it. And
But at the same time, I don't think that you would be rude
absolutely not.
if it was
No.
happening. I think that was the whole point. Like these women
I'm the
were
one that'll.
being
I'm the one.
rude.
I've had it happen in front of me, and I will literally walk up to the kid and be like, talk to the kid.
My husband does that. He's like,
because-
"You want some candy? You want me to buy you a
yeah,
cookie?
because
Here's $1."
Sometimes that's all that kid needs is like, just some kind of like like attention, and
Mhm.
it's not.
Positive, something
Yeah,
positive.
and I try not to see it as in, as a child just throwing a fit because there could be a lot more factors to that.
That's what I'm saying. Like because literally 20 minutes before this foster child was handed to a new foster home. And so you, like you said a while ago, you don't know what somebody else is
No,
going through. You
never
don't know
know.
what they're dealing with. And yes, it is frustrating. And it is a mindset that you have to consciously put yourself in
Mhm.
every time you walk out that door. Like every time, because I get road rage sometimes,
Oh, I get that all the
and
time.
I try now to think, oh well, this may be a new driver out
Uh-huh.
on the road. This may be an elderly driver out on the road.
So I will be my road rage is really bad, but I will be understanding if it's something like that. But if you are, what was that?
It's one of those little stink
Sorry, there
bugs.
was a bug.
Stink bug.
There was a bug. But if you're somebody that's on your phone or whatever, because Aubrey and I was on the BG and almost got run off the road by somebody
Mhm.
on her phone, and the left lane on the BG, there's nowhere to go.
Right.
My SUV is huge.
Yeah, I think
So,
that's way different.
I had to slam on my brakes, but that girl knew.
Yeah.
And I get up beside her again, and she's still on her phone. I was like, but that is the only time, like, other than that, like, if you're going too slow, I'll just pass you or whatever. I mean, but if you're an idiot and it's not because you're a new driver, it's because you're just an idiot.
Yeah. Don't be out on the road.
You're gonna know that I was there.
Don't be on the road. You can follow us
Follow
on.
us on iHeart, Spotify, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. Our TikTok is Amber and Kristen, or it's Amber.Kristen. But that's how we grow.
Amber.Kristen1. Just Amber Kristen.
That's how we grow. And
that's how we grow is
people ask why we're doing
and
this. That's the point.
it takes zero amount of funds to follow, like, share our
Mhm.
pages. So we greatly appreciate the ones that do and the ones that subscribe to us on our YouTube channel. We greatly appreciate it. Again, like she said earlier at the beginning, we are having a switcheroo this week.
This week's gonna be a little off for us.
Yeah, so it's gonna, our
So
podcast
Wednesday
and our broadcasting will change a little bit, but we'll still be here.
Well, and Wednesday, we will definitely let everybody know when we will go live. We haven't decided on a time just yet, but it will be between 1 and 5. We're just gonna figure out what works for
Yeah.
Wednesday, because there is a lot going on right now. So we're gonna see what we can get done.
In the meantime, follow, like, share, and we appreciate it, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in today.